Hello everyone, Talented Toy Boxer here alongside Zeb to make another episode of Toy Box Tutorials. So the topic that we are going to be focused on for today's lesson is the Enemy Trail Guide toy. So if you don't know what the Enemy Trail Guide toy is, it is a creative toy where you can manage and configure where an enemy is going to move. And I'm going to show you how to use it if you want enemies in your toy box to move wherever you want them without using a path creator. So you need to open the editor. You need to go to Creative Toys. I already have the section brought up. And you want to come over here to the enemy wave generator and drop down as many as you would like. I'm not sure if it will work with 3 or 4 or 5. I like to use 2 of them. And then we're going to need a locator. So you need to have all this bought from the toy store. So we need to see the blue dot. So the blue dot is where the enemy is going to spawn and face. Okay, so the locator's facing the wrong way. We need it to face this way. That's where the enemies will face, the direction the locator is in, this blue dot. So now if we come into here, we're going to do some locator connections and connect them to the locator. And this will be the spawn location of our enemies. And since we don't have any enemies configured in the enemy wave generator, we're going to go ahead and configure it. So we're going to come over here. And I'm going to spawn in these Beagle Boys. I'm going to spawn in these guys. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for this one. I'm not sure if this was the other one. Okay, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if that was the one that didn't have any enemies. So we're going to keep on scrolling until we find the Beagle Boys enemies. You don't actually have to use these. I'm just going to use them. So about like 5 of them. So that's going to be 10. So we have 5 for each of these, so it's going to be 10 Beagle Boys just wandering around. So we're going to need something to generate the wave. But once we generate the wave, they're just going to be wandering around. So that brings us to use this toy for today's episode. So we're just going to put this toy right here. And we need to use a certain toy to make these enemies walk towards it. And you see this arrow? That's where the enemies are gonna go. So this is gonna be the direction they're gonna be coming from. So we're gonna drop down like 4 of these right here on like a circle. So there we go. It's kind of more like a square, but same thing. So I want it to actually be a square. There we go. So since we can't connect anything to make the enemies go over here, we're gonna have to do a connection using a trigger signal. So we're gonna put the trigger area right over top of this locator, and then we're gonna use the little handles to shrink it. Okay, not like that. I want to bring it a little bit closer. Alright, I don't want it to be that tall. So I'm going to take this handle and shrink it down. Alright, there we go. So that looks good, and that's what I want it to look like. Kind of looks like the scalable barrier block size, if you remember from Toy Box Tutorials number 27. So now, we're going to come over here. When entered by AI enemy, this will summon the triggering enemy. And then when we open the logic menu for the enemy trail guide, we have 3 options. This isn't really an option, but we can move to this connection. So after I did this connection, it will show up here. But we basically have like 2 options. So if we go to the properties of this toy, we're going to ignore new logic connection. We have 3 options. Enemy marching speed. If we set this to 12, then they'll be running over here. I want to set this to 4. And the focus level, this is how much you want the enemies to focus on the enemy trail guide. So if you leave this set to 100, the enemies will be completely focused on getting to the enemy trail guide. Then we have number 3, teleport when unreachable. I'm gonna leave this set to off because I feel like they might get in the way. And we're gonna do the exact same thing for the others. We're gonna have it be 4, 100, and off. But if we go to new logic connection, there's only one message that this toy can broadcast when the enemy actually arrives unit. So if we select that, we can select the other enemy trail guide. So if you don't know what summon triggering enemy means, it means the enemies will be wandering over here. And we're gonna keep doing the exact same thing. Summon triggering enemy. Oh, I don't know why it does that. It just kicks me out of the logic menu. Summon triggering enemy. And I want it to be in a loop. So basically it's just gonna leap over and over again. It's just gonna loop over and over again. So the enemies will be walking in this like square shaped thing. Basically, that's what they're gonna do. And now we're gonna go to the properties of all these enemy trail guides, and we're gonna set them to 4. And everything else is set to the thing we want, 100 and off. So we're just gonna change the enemy marching speed. I don't want them to be running. And we're gonna go to the properties of our enemy wave generators. And if you go to the properties of this toy, we have 7 options. Generate at random locator. But the one that we want to use, we'll talk about these in a future episode. We want to use generation delay, so they'll generate every 3 seconds. So generation delay is how long you want the enemies, how long you want the game to wait until they actually generate the enemies. So we're gonna leave this set to 3. There we go. So now it's just, so now these are all set to 3. And that's basically all we need to do. But we need something to actually generate the wave. We're gonna do a couple more connections. We're gonna need an action button, and if anything goes wrong, this one will defeat the wave. If they're just wandering and not following the enemy trail guides. And I feel like I'm missing something. We need to do the connections to generate the wave. And we're gonna come over here. New logic connection. No, not entered. So we're gonna come over here. New logic connection. And we need to actually make it so that they follow the trail guides. So when an AI, like an enemy, enters this, they'll follow the trail. And I wanna actually make sure that they get there by summoning the triggering enemy over there. It might get confused, so I'm just gonna delete that connection with the enemy trail guide. So I think the game's gonna get confused. So when the enemy enters this, they'll start marching over here. Cross your fingers if all goes well. And I feel like I'm missing something still. When pressed, this will generate our wave. We'll generate these guys. And we're gonna come over here. When pressed, this is gonna generate the wave. And we're gonna come over here. When pressed, by the way, I built this earlier. I built this little basic block thing for these buttons earlier. So this will defeat the waves. This will defeat the wave. And we're gonna come over here. When this button is pressed, this will defeat the waves. And I'm not sure if it can generate, it can't generate the enemies twice, so I'll have to save the toy box. I'll have to save the toy box if it doesn't work off camera and they're wandering off camera. So I'll have to kill those guys if they wander off. And by the way, there's something I forgot to mention about the focus level. So the enemies will focus on the trail guide unless you get close enough for them to start to attack you. So we're just gonna, let's see if all goes well. I still feel like I'm missing something though. So we'll generate the waves and these guys should just go over here in a loop. So we're basically done. So I'm gonna come out of spark mode and there's something I'm forgetting. There actually is. We're going to need a level starter. So I'm just gonna drop down the level starter right here. And we have this like this stack of basic blocks so that the enemies can't make their way up here because they're too dumb enough to. So we're gonna come over here. New logic connection when pressed. This will also start our level. And we're just gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone. So that should activate. So after this is turned on, this will generate our wave. So now we're gonna exit the editor. And now we're gonna go ahead and hit the button. Alright, so okay, they're wandering to the trail guides. Okay, so they do a short little pause. Oh. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna kill the enemies that don't wander. Oh. Okay, no, stop it. No, stop, get up. Alright, so they do a short pause. Oh. Okay, now, okay, I don't know what these guys are all doing. They kind of just made these guys, like, just go into a line or something. This is like in school where you follow the teacher in line. I don't want these guys here. So I'm going to get rid of them. Oh, no. Okay, so they do a short pause when they actually make it. And we don't need these guys. We don't really need these guys. Okay, now you're following these guys over here. These, oh, hey, why did he stop? Okay, now they're just stopping. They're not really going in a loop now. This guy's stuck here. So I don't know why they kind of stop. I'll have to delete some of them. So these other guys are... Oh, hey. Alright. Now I'm just going to leap up here. Alright, there we go. So that's how you use the enemy trail guide if you want to manage and configure where an enemy is going to move. So we have... Wait, you guys, you three Beagle boys need to wait for this guy. He's falling behind. Alright, so that was the whole tutorial. This was a pretty long video to make. So I'm going to stay up here because they completely ignore you if you're up here on somewhere. So there we go. That's how you use the enemy trail guide. Leave a like on this video if it was helpful to you. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new because we are posting daily now on Talented Toy Boxer, my YouTube channel's name. So I'm just gonna watch from above to see if any of these guys like just do a short pause that I don't want them to actually do at all. And make sure you click the notification bell to never miss a video of mine. And if you've seen my videos where I've explained that options thing, just click all. And if you haven't seen those videos, then you don't know about this options thing for notifications. So I'm just going to explain that for you. So there's 3 options. So number 1 is all, number 2 is personalized, and number 3 is none. So make sure you click all to never miss any of my videos so that you can get post notifications for my YouTube channel, Talented Toy Boxer. And also make sure you share the video with a friend if they're into this game and they wanna find out how to use this enemy trail guide. Then just share it with them, and it will actually be extremely helpful for them if they want to manage and configure the movements of enemies in your toy box. And if you're on the PlayStation 4, make sure you follow my PlayStation 4 account my ID, my user ID is Lefty714, and I forgot the rest of the numbers, but I think my name, my user ID will show up. I think my user ID will show up if you just type in Lefty714. And also, if you follow that account, my account, it's also, my name is also Steven Gomez in PlayStation. So that's my username. I'm not sure if it's the ID though, because I got this like 7 years ago or something. This PlayStation console, I bought it from Best Buy when it came out. So make sure you do that, and I think you can get notified by the new videos I post. You can stay updated on the What's New page whenever I upload a brand new video for you guys to view and enjoy and be entertained by. So that was the whole tutorial. So make sure you comment down something below, like anything I can do for you, any questions about making toy boxes. I'm eventually going to teach you guys how to make toy boxes, my toy boxes that I've made. If you guys want to build like me, I'll make like a series on it called How to Build. And I'm not going to title it How to Build Toy Boxes, because How to Build, and when you see one of those videos that I'll upload soon, you already know it's about this game if you see the thumbnail of this game. So I know I've been talking for a lot, but these really help my channel be more outstanding. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.